So I've managed to fix the technical issues that I was experiencing. Oh my God, it's been one of those days, or one of those years. I'm not too sure, but here we are. Hello and welcome to the second episode of SHX, The Road to $3.33 live. As I say, apologies there for the technical difficulties and messing around. I went out and purchased a new laptop today as well. So, as I say, we should be. I was just trying to set that up. Unbelievable. I'm glad you can hear me, Jonathan. And so, yeah, what I wanted to do today is really just cover the markets, what's going on in the world of crypto, my thoughts on it, and then just focus on Stronghold because it's the second episode yesterday. Obviously, we had technical issues as well. So I really just want to concentrate on Stronghold and SHX today. Tomorrow, I will be covering XDC. So again, as I say, the idea of these is not only for me to come on every day, Monday to Saturday, and speak about SHX and Stronghold, it's also to speak about the whole of the markets, what I think is going on. Obviously, have a focus on SHX and Stronghold, but really, as I say, provide and do deep dives into other projects and have special guests on and community members as well. What I'm also going to do is work towards a 2-week schedule. So like the community will know, okay, in the next 2 weeks, these are the subjects that we'll be covering. These are the projects we'll be covering. These are the guests that will be appearing. And so you guys, as I say, have an overview of that, and you can sort of dip in and out as and when you choose. But I'm going to share my screen, and as I say, let's have a look and see what is actually going on in the markets today. I've seen a number of mixed, as always, opinions on what's actually going on. But if we look now and see, Bitcoin is currently down on the day and the hour, but up on the 7 days. Ethereum had a bit of a jump, and now it seems to be declining. As I say, the sentiment is all mixed, isn't it? Right? If you follow me and you follow the right people, then you will already know what is happening, and you'll be pretty comfortable in regards to these little pullbacks that are happening. Obviously, if you're kind of over leveraged, then you're probably a little bit scared as to what's going to happen. But I can reassure you, and this is what I've been saying since the very beginning, and I've been saying this since the summer of 2023, is that we are in that bull run, and this is going to continue. These are just little pullbacks, and unless you're very new to crypto, these things shouldn't really be, these pullbacks shouldn't really be affecting you whatsoever, especially when you look at sort of Bitcoin dominance, for example. And we see on the weekly here that it is declining. If we look at the monthly, it doesn't look great, does it? So I think that what we're going to see is, and what we have been experiencing, is Bitcoin going up, Bitcoin dominance going down. That's the ideal scenario. And yes, there will be these shakeouts, but unfortunately for the market makers within this industry, unfortunately for them, they've run out of what you would call dry powder. So they can't manipulate the market as much as they can. Obviously, retail is going to be starting to get involved. I don't know about you, but I've had many people approach me. Now it started a little bit before Christmas, and now again it's starting. So you're going to see an influx of people into the market, and that's all positive. I'm just kind of looking at the Bitcoin chart now, and if we have a look, I mean, this is all pretty healthy, to be fair. It's not anything to worry about. If we look at if we look at SHX, it's up 7% on the week, down 10% on the day. Again, like, it's just breathing a little bit. The markets are just breathing. Stellar had probably the best run, didn't it? I think. And that's another thing as well that people keep asking me. It's like, is that fixed formula of BTC and Ethereum then going? Is that, and then the sort of the large caps, the mid caps? I don't think that's the theory, and I don't think that's what's going to happen in this bull run. I think that if you were here in 2020, all of the things that sort of were talked about then in regards to sort of Stellar and XRP and all of those things, and price appreciation and utility as well, I think that that's what's going to happen now. So again, people are questioning, why is Stellar gone up so much within a short space of time? Why is it leading? Well, the reason is because we're so close to that implementation of utility and real world adoption of crypto. And the market makers can't manipulate the prices as much as they would like to now. They don't have that power anymore. The power is being transferred and has been transferred to BlackRock and Wall Street. And so now what we're going to experience, which has never happened before, is more genuine price appreciation and natural price appreciation. The issue that they have is that when you hold something under for so long, then it becomes almost uncontrollable as a result of that. And so the likes of Stellar, the likes of XRP they've already gone up, but they're about to explode. And it's the same with SHX as well. Anyone who is a little bit of a veteran within Stronghold will know that when XRP and XLM make those huge jumps of 30-40%, Stronghold is alongside with them. They're in a trinity together. And my theory, my own personal theory, and I've never really found anything to prove this, but I think that the liquidity pools are joined together and locked together in a deeper way than what most people think. And therefore, then when you have that influx on XRP or Stellar, it whichever one it is, it drives the other ones up. If you're looking for, again, sort of value, sort of Stellar versus XRP, then I think Stellar has way more to go. And also, if you are, again, a bit of a veteran within this actual space, you'll realize and know that historically in a bull run, XLM catches up with XRP and actually overtakes it slightly. Now, that sounds pretty ridiculous at the moment if you look at sort of where the price points are for each asset. But then if we think about X money, well, I will tell you that X money is mostly built on Stellar. So when that gets announced, what will happen? Well, I think XRP will be included in that. I can't see any reason why it wouldn't be. But then that could be a catalyst to have that scenario happen again. But as I say, I think we're going into a Pandora's box moment because you have institutional money flowing. I don't think that in regards to sort of this bull run in particular that you're going to see the same patterns play out. And sort of there is always a point where just everything sends. So even like projects that haven't been touched in years suddenly start sending. I don't think that's the case. I think that the concentration of liquidity and money that will flow into this market is really aligned with those utility projects, the likes of XRP, the likes of XLM, the likes of Stronghold, the likes of Velo. The ones in which are made in the US will be highly successful. And this is where, you know, Stronghold come into their own, because when you compare any other project, they're all, if they're utility driven, they're usually in the billions of market cap already, right? Stronghold should be in the billions of market cap already. There's no reason why it shouldn't. The reason why it isn't is because they kept it so stealth for so long. And even now, like if you said to someone who is in crypto, or have you heard of Stronghold or SHX, 9 times out of 10 they'll be like, "What are you on about?" But that's, as I say, the one of the strongest points for me, because it's like, and like I said when I first started, it's like finding XRP and XLM before they've appreciated. So if you could go back and purchase XRP at just over a cent, you'd probably take that opportunity in hindsight, right? And I just think that the things that they're doing are echoing exactly what XRP have done, exactly what XLM have done, Stellar. In regards to the escrow, they've left it. They've left this for almost as long as they could, because if you were paying close attention last year on an AMA with Tammy and they were going to use Stellar, which was quite funny because it was just when Soroban had come out. Now, Soroban is a complete game changer because it's a smart contract system which is native to the network. They're not having to add anything on. And so, having been built upon Stellar primarily, SHX, this is really what everyone thought Ether was in regards to smart contracts on Stellar. And that's why you're seeing the jump on Stellar. It is no secret in institutional groups and circles that Stellar is a chosen blockchain, or is the chosen blockchain. That's why the likes of Franklin Templeton and Circle and everyone have been building on it. That's why the US government have a monetary fund on Stellar. Like, they haven't chosen anywhere else. They've chosen Stellar for that specific one through Franklin Templeton. And the reason why is because, as I say, it is the chosen. There will be many winners, or a selected number of winners within this space. But Stellar's going to lead, and it's going to lead strong, and it's already started. And it's got a lot of catching up to do, and there's been a lot of suppression on it. I mean, I don't know whether you know this, but Stronghold has been suppressed in terms of price for the last 6 years, and that seems to be coming to an end as well. They all do it, and the reason why they all do it is because we haven't had that regulatory piece yet. We haven't had that coming into law, and that's all about to change. And so if you see anyone sort of, as I say, being bearish or doom calling, I'd probably unfollow them at this point, because they clearly don't understand what's going on, and really how certain things are programmed in. And I think that's sort of how people sometimes struggle to understand that, as I say, these certain projects have been chosen many years ago, way before even I knew about crypto and many others. And it's such a unique time because you're literally going to witness it unfold. And when I suppose people call them normies, but I suppose like non-crypto people, when they find out, oh, I can use Stronghold, well, where do you think, as I say, the price will be? The utility will have already happened, and that transfer of wealth will have already happened, and the people that were in early, and the people that saw the vision and saw the benefits of crypto and how it was going to expand and really take over the world, then they'll be the ones that benefit. But this is really, as I say, a game changer for SHX and Stronghold. And what's really good about it is that when people then come into the system, and they come into SHX and Stronghold, the difference being now versus, for example, when I started, sort of a couple of years ago, is that there is things to speak about now, and there is also a lot of FUD has been addressed. Like, always the questions were around, is 100 billion supply, like they're going to dump on you. Why? But obviously, why would they dump on you? It makes no sense. But again, almost purposely not updating the circulating supply to confuse people. When I first started on Stronghold, on Stellar Expert, there was a scam warning against it. So it's like how many things can you do to keep it out of the public domain for as long as possible? Because anyone coming in and looking at it would have been like, well, I'm not going to invest in this. But yet here we are, and now the new people coming in and the new people looking into Stronghold and SHX will see all of the things that have happened over the last sort of 18 months and are continuing to happen. And so we have things like governance voting, which we never had. You have obviously the escrow side of things, which we never had. We have confirmation on the circulating supply and max supply. We have a burning mechanism as well. All of these things, if I think back to when I sort of began speaking about it versus now, it's so easy to speak about SHX because they're literally spelling it out for you. And so, as I say, the next thing and the thing that I think everyone is waiting for is those tier ones. The likes of Kraken have been obviously active on chain. I think Stronghold moved $200,000 to them on chain yesterday. And so one would probably take an educational guess and say that, yeah, SHX will be on Kraken at some point in the future, right? This year. I would say, like I've always said, they were waiting for regulations. They didn't want to do anything to affect their existing business until regulations were in place. But in the meantime, what they've been doing is they've been signing millions of merchants up to the network and working with the most influential organizations on the planet for years. So if anyone is very well positioned, also when you think about compliance and regulation, it is Stronghold and SHX. And if you've noticed, they've started dropping things like these videos weren't a thing either. And they're talking about subjects which you potentially wouldn't really associate with crypto and Stronghold. So insurance claims, for example. But they're saying that blockchain can automate claims, smart contracts reduce friction, customers get paid faster. So really, what they're saying as a business, they're leaning in and setting the stage towards this all-encompassing network whereby, like Tammy Camp said back in 2017 in an interview, in relation to the future of value, everything will be in one place. So, for example, your Starbucks points, your air miles, everything will be in one place, accessible and interoperable. Now, it's interesting then to look at 8 years later and suddenly they're talking about AI, they're talking about insurance claims, they're talking about property and tokenization. So, as I say, to take it one step further, really, is Stronghold Net all the money in the US? Is it the revolution of the US ACH network? Or is it actually bigger than even I have sort of managed to find and prove? Is it a case in which actually you could do everything on there? And what I mean by everything is you have your insurance claims on there, you have all of your air mile points on there. It's really kind of pushing towards, I suppose, what X wants to be in regards to the everything app. But I wouldn't be surprised if potentially next year, when laws have matured and come into place, as well as the system and the liquidity, that we don't see a rush of tokenization going on to that network. And potentially, as I say, the likes of insurance companies, the likes of property as well, and there's RWAs potentially going on to Stronghold Net. That would be incredible. And I think that if you look at, for example, Velo protocol can be they're allowed to be a little bit more uh, bullish and a little bit more open in regards to what they're doing. The reason for that is because the people behind it own Thailand. And in Southeast Asia, things work, they kind of work the same as the West, but they work a little bit differently. And so if someone gives you a nod, then you're kind of okay. And if you see the amount of alpha they've been dropping, then in regards to tokenization of gold, remittance, really telling everyone they're going to be the $1 trillion liquidity backbone for Asia. I think what you need to do then is think, well, how many things are Stronghold holding back and have to hold back, given that they're in the US and things, as I say, work a bit differently. They're really waiting for that law. But I'm excited because, as I say, over the next however many months, we're going to see that play out. And the person behind it all, as I say, is Tammy, and this is from Green Knuckles. Give him a follow. He's a Stronghold OG and a really nice guy. And bro, I hope you managed to locate your wine. Um, but here he says that like it's basically what everyone's saying within the community, that this coin is just over a cent and it's got no listings on US exchanges. Yet the people behind it are essentially the Elon Musks of crypto. And so Tammy has outperformed the world's top hedge funds 3-1. In fact, she is the face of distributed ledger technology in Silicon Valley. And so they were the first venture backed fintech startup in DLT. And as I say, you've got to think then, like, what have they been doing since 2017 to come to this point now whereby, as I say, we have regulations coming in? So it's all very exciting. And in regards to, like, people ask me, what do I see short term in regards to pricing for SHX and all of these things? And I'm not personally, I'm not really concentrating on the short-term price. I do obviously check it, and I will be checking it every day and presenting it to you guys. But really, for myself, given my experience previously working with the world's largest financial organizations and working with the C-suite of those organizations, the thing about SHX is that it will be, if it is what we all speculate it is, then it is going to be bigger than whatever this whenever it hits the show name, right? So that is just really sort of the first stepping stone, I think. And how long that will take, who really knows? But like I said, when you sort of look back in the history of these utility-driven assets and chosen assets, you'll start to see at some point there was always a point whereby the price appreciation just went insane, and then you've almost missed it. So I think that short term probably will hopefully happen. And then, as I say, longer term, if you're talking 5 to 10 years, if you look at what Coinbase are doing, Coinbase are saying that they want to be the leading financial services app in the US and globally by 2030. How are they going to do that? They can't do that by themselves. They're going to have interoperability with various systems. I think StrongholdNet is going to be one of those main ones. And then when you actually look at SHX, you realize, wait, it's designed to be the liquidity tool for this. So again, it's all very exciting. And one thing I just wanted to cover, and I get questions about this a lot, and still people are struggling with it. And again, it's not their fault. It's the fact that these exchanges are saying the wrong stats, right? The wrong stats are on coin market cap as well, unless you click that blue tick. And so, yeah, it's difficult to know where to get the accurate figures, but they are on coin market cap. The self-supported reported supply is just over 15 billion, so that's circulating, and then it has a self-reported market cap of just over 200 million. So that's pretty much where we're at. As I say, you can go on coin market cap and search SHX, and then just click the button, and you'll see it there. But as I say, if you do have any questions or any projects that you'd like me to cover, please do put them in the comments. Please do put me in the chat. In the chat, and from that, as I say, I'm going to work on a schedule, and I'll be releasing it every 2 weeks, and so you guys exactly who's going to be on the show and what we're going to be covering, which will be great. So I'll work on that, and that will be with everyone. I'll put it out towards the end of this week. I'm just waiting on a couple of more confirmations in terms of special guests, and then yeah, I'll be able to hopefully release the next 2-3 weeks in regards to schedules. So there's a question by Blurryface. Blurryface, how you doing? Said that. Let me highlight this 2 seconds. So will we get SHX burned per transaction, but also burned when paid out as a reward? So the way in which the burn works currently, there's only one burning mechanism on Stronghold, and it was voted in on the first vote, on the first governance vote. Now, that is in relation to the loan origination fee, which has to be paid in SHX. Okay. So say, for example, you have a merchant and they want a cash advance. They're probably a startup. They don't have any credit history. What Stronghold will do, they'll look at their payments history and they'll say, okay, well, you're bringing in, say, for example, a month, 50 grand. So we can see that. We'll take the loan repayments. You want 20K or whatever, and we'll spread that over the next 12 months, and we'll take it out of your payments. So it's already coming out of their profit margins, and Stronghold are comfortable in lending them. Then what will happen is there's a loan origination fee, which is paid by from the person who requests the loan, right? And what happens is 70% of that loan origination fee is burned, and 30% goes back to the pool contributors. So if you're thinking about DeFi in the future, and say, for example, as holders of SHX, you can stake on Stronghold Net. I think that's definitely coming with regulations, right? SHX was specifically designed for DeFi, and yet we only see a very small DeFi piece with the merchant cash advance, which is in a closed pool as well, so of contributors. What will happen is that, as I say, moving forward, potentially once regulations are in place and in law, you could lend out your SHX within Stronghold Net. This is what happens currently, and as I say, for a select few of institutional contributors. So they take that and they take the money, they pay the, as I say, the loan origination fee, and 70% of that is burned. So that comes off the max supply. So if you look, Blurryface, you will see if you dig a little bit deeper that the max supply has been coming down, which makes then SHX deflationary. Okay. Now, moving forward, obviously they are working on a platform in which we can, as a community, submit our ideas in regards to proposals of any changes to SHX. So say, for example, the community want that DeFi available on Stronghold Net so we can stake our SHX. That would then, as I say, in the future, potentially be put forward in a proposal. Then it gets discussed, and if as a community we decide that that's something that we would like to do and put it as a final vote, that will go up and that will be voted on. And if it's voted in, then that then comes into place. And I think that's a really good point in relation to SHX, and what makes it stand out from other projects is the fact that the holders are in control. The idea has always been for strongholders and the holders of SHX to be in control of the network when it comes to any changes or any main changes, or any additions in relation to the rules of the network, which is really encouraging because sometimes you don't get that. But the best and the most exciting thing about SHX is the fact that it isn't designed for you and I. So it's not reliant. The price will never be reliant on whether or not me or you are going to purchase it for a certain price, because this crypto is designed for institutional business use. So it's not just a peer-to-peer. It's not just a case of, oh, it's got cross-border payments. It's very much an integral part and the moving piece within Stronghold Net. So it's designed to move all of the value around from traditional systems to the new systems, back and forth. And so as I say, that's why it's plugged into XRPL, that's why it's plugged into Stellar, that's why it's plugged into FedNow, that's why it's plugged into ISO 20022, because, and as I say, we're gonna see, aren't we, once regulation is here and it's turned on, exactly what that means for the price of SHX. Because if you're the liquidity tool, then you need to be a certain price, as to not have those massive swings. That's why if you look at what Velo have said, and they said, right, we want to be the $1 trillion liquidity backbone of Asia by 2030. Well, if you want to be the $1 trillion backbone of liquidity, then what you need is you need 10 to, I think, something like 10 to 100 times that, to make sure that any large transaction doesn't have that price swing, right? And doesn't have those volatile moves, because crypto in this history up until now has been, incredibly volatile. But when we're moving into the future, it needs to be to a degree stable, right? And therefore, there has to be a certain amount of liquidity in the pool to make sure that it can service the amount of demand. And so, if it needs to process $100 million, then it has to be worth $1 trillion. But say, for example, we take into account, and that's a minimum, it has to be a minimum of 10 times what you're servicing as liquidity. So therefore, if we take into account the US ACH network, which processes $80 trillion a year, if that was a crypto project and that was liquidity, it would need to be a minimum of 10 times that to be able to service all of its needs. Because as I say, you're having people take out multitudes of different and varying different amounts of value from the network. And you can't have someone come in and do a big transaction, suddenly then the price drops 30-40%. I know we're used to that, but institutions and businesses don't like that. That puts them off. So these networks, as I say, have a home currency, and that's what SHX is when it comes to Stronghold Net, and that's what you'll see, as I say, sort of moving forward. It's kind of unknown, right? What's that value? If we're taking into account, say, for example, the whole of the US, and then we're taking into account all of even just the US ACH network. I mean, the $80 trillion that they process, that's just in the US alone. That's not globally. So the largest amount is in the US, but there's global amounts as well. And so, like with Stronghold, and where they're going, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see the same things that, say, for example, Ripple do, then sort of copied further down the line. So Ripple are leading the way, right? They've been in court, they've been fighting everyone's battles, and they've, I suppose, come out victorious to a degree. That's all over. They've now got their ETF approved as well. But then, as I say, if you look at, say, for example, XLM, you have Grayscale, and they've had an ETF on there for a number of years now. I think for XLM, GXLM, it's called. And so, what happens with Ripple will happen with Stellar, will eventually happen, I think, with Stronghold, because I wouldn't be surprised in the future if Stellar then obviously have an XLM ETF once Ripple have done theirs, then Stellar do theirs, and then that, as I say, opens kind of the leads the way, doesn't it, in relation to Stronghold catching up. And as I say, that's what I look to in the future when you're kind of like trying to piece it all together and figure out where is this going. I think that the world will look an incredibly different place in 12 months versus now. And I think you'll see a lot of people come into crypto and probably stay. But it's not like the kind of market cycles that we've seen previously, where everything goes up, then it all comes down, and it's 3 or 4 years of people moaning and speculating and everything like that. I think that actually it's going to be a case of it continues and it continues up. Obviously, you're going to have the markets breathing and you're going to have pullbacks because nothing ever goes up in a straight line, right? But looking at this now and looking at where, as I say, the markets are going, and I would say two, sometimes three people that I really, really pay close attention to when they tell me things. And if everything stays the same and we don't have like some like fuck up like World War III or something, if everything stays the same, which hopefully it will, then Bitcoin will exceed most people's expectations. And will actually continue. I think people have kind of like said, oh, it lasts 2-3 months, the bull run. And again, if you are in a position to change your life, take the profits. Like, no one ever got poor from taking profits. But at the same time, if everything stays the same, then it will continue into next year. So we potentially have maybe the next 6, 7, 9 months. Like, that would be crazy. And I'll keep you updated in regards to if I hear anything that contradicts or if there's any sort of changes. But these people are they're never wrong, and they have never been wrong. And so to me anyway, so like as I say, if things stay the same, then what we're going to see is not everything send, but we're going to see certain select cryptos, as I say, like XLM. Why is XLM doubling in price in less than a week? Like, what? That's not really what traditionally happens, right? BTC goes, Ether goes, a few others go, and da da da. So, like I say, I think the best opportunity still is with SHX because of the market cap, right? But once it starts to go, I think it is going to go, and that's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I've shared today is financial advice. But personally, I can't wait to witness it because I think it's just going to be something that will never happen again, right? And it's definitely overdue. So that's been today's show. I hope, as I say, you've all found it insightful and useful. I'm still getting used to these controls, and so once I'm really up to speed with it and become a little bit of an expert within it, it'll be way more interactive and also a lot more graphics and things like that. So I'm working up on that. I hope the rest of your day goes well wherever you are. For me, it's nighttime, so I'm going to be going to bed. But as I say, for the rest of you who have the day ahead of you, hope it goes well. I hope you have a productive day, and I will see you tomorrow for episode 3.